Well, I'm in the Celtics today. I am Will Scott. We're going to get into some trade rumors on today's show. The trade deadline a few weeks away, and with the Celtics having the NBA's best record, they are certainly going to be linked to a lot of guys at the deadline, including a big name that we're going to get to here in a second. But first, I want y'all to go down in the comment section. Tell me, who do you want to trade for? It can be, a backup, a starter, an all-star. Let me know down in the comment section, who do you want to trade for? Some of y'all might say this guy, Trae Young. And I walked into the office this morning and I ran over to producer Coop's desk. I'm like, Trae Young is all of a sudden in trade rumors here. And with the Hawks underachieving, maybe Trae Young will be the next star to want out. And maybe the Celtics will be a team in the mix here. Now, taking a look here at Trae Young's next team odds. This is if he gets traded. The Mavericks are the front runners with the Heat and the Celtics close behind. So the Celtics have the third best odds of landing Trae Young if he were to get traded. This is just not something we're making up. This is straight from the odds list. Celtics have the third best odds of any team in the entire league to trade for Trae Young, with the Lakers and the Nuggets 4th and 5th on this list. Now, before we get into more about this, I want to hear from y'all down in the comments. Do you want to trade for Atlanta Hawks point guard Trae Young? Type T for trade or type P for pass. Down in the comment section, it is the pinned comment, so reply to it when you get a second. I think a lot of us are wondering, where would Trae Young fit? Would he fit on this basketball team? You have a very good starting five right now. Now, I understand that Robert Williams has not started a game since he is working his way back from injury, but he'll be a full-time starter, obviously, in the near future. Tatum, Smart, Williams, Brown, and Horford. Right now, you're starting five. If you were to trade for Trae Young, I'm assuming that Marcus Smart would be in that deal, who's been a Celtic. He's the longest tenured Celtic on this team right now. He'd probably be in that deal, and Trae Young would be your new starting point guard. And you'd have a big three of Trae Young, Jaylen Brown, and Jayson Tatum would be one of the best big threes of all time. Now, NBA analysis. Again, this is NBA analysis trade idea. This is not Chat Sports trade idea. It is certainly not my trade idea. This is from NBA analysis trade idea. Celtics receive Trae Young. Hawks receive Jaylen Brown, Danilo Gallinari, and 2 first-round picks. This might be the worst trade idea that I've ever seen. I'm not saying, don't trade for Trae Young if the opportunity presents itself. But Jaylen Brown would not be going to Atlanta in that deal. And I think the reason that NBA analysis decided to include him in that trade is because there have been some rumors that the Atlanta native Jaylen Brown, you see him at almost every press conference in Atlanta Braves cap, that he would want to go back to Atlanta when he becomes a free agent. But there's no chance that the Celtics are going to give him up and give that package up for Trae Young. I believe that the two headliners in a trade would be Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. You'd obviously have to have a lot of picks there as well. Here's what Trae Young has done this season. The scoring is still there, points per game, but the shooting percentages have taken a dip. Yes, he's averaging 27.2 points per game, 9.9 assists per game, but he's only averaging 31.6% from three, 41.4% from the floor this season. I wouldn't be interested in Trae Young, not because I don't believe that he's a good player, but because I just don't think the Celtics have a realistic package to put together for him. You're probably going to have to include a young star and multiple first-round picks in a deal for Trae Young. I just don't think Brad Stevens would be willing to do that. And when you're talking about the possibility of including Jaylen Brown for Trae Young, that's just not going to happen. Jaylen Brown is a better player than Trae Young right now. So I would not be interested if I'm Boston. Obviously, I don't really think you have the assets to make the deal. But another reason that I would not be interested is because you have the best team in the league already. You're 25-10. You have the best record in the league. I don't really feel the need to risk that, trading for Trae Young, giving up a guy like Marcus Smart or Robert Williams or Grant Williams or Payton Pritchard, whoever, to get that deal done. I just don't think it's worth it, and I think the Celtics should keep their roster as is for the most part. Yeah, maybe you trade for a big man or a wing at the deadline, but I don't think the Celtics are going to do anything crazy. Want to tell you about this great deal we're giving y'all through BetUS. If you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125, you are going to get a 125% deposit bonus. That means if you put $100 into your account, you're going to start with 225 additional. You're going to start with 125 additional cash, so $225 total. It's a great deal. You can go bet on JT to win the MVP. He's been the odds, leader for most of the season, but after that 60-point performance from Luka yesterday, they are now tied at plus 250. Nikola Jokic at plus 350, close behind. That is the promo code. That is the link. Go and take advantage of this deal. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code CHAT125. Now, Trae Young might not be the only guy that is in some Celtics trade rumors. When you're talking about a guy that's currently on the Celtics, that is in some trade rumors. That is Payton Pritchard. Next, we will tell you if he could be on the move. But first, go down, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 14,000 subscribers. Let's get there by the new year. Let's ring in the new year with 14,000 subscribers. Go down, subscribe to the channel. The more subs we get, the more content you guys get, so it's a win-win. Go down, hit that big red subscribe button. Now, Heavy.com has had some scoops lately, and Steve Bulpett of Heavy.com wrote this up on Payton Pritchard just yesterday. Not surprisingly, Payton Pritchard's new situation has other teams sniffing around. Clubs have been investigating whether he might be worth pursuing in a trade. He makes $2.2 million this year, $4 million next season. You've got to wonder about him defensively at that size, listed at 6'1", but he plays hard. He can really push the ball, and he's got a nice stroke from three, said one personnel man. I like what I see, but it's hard to say for sure if he could do more with a better opportunity. And first, you have to ask if he's better than what you have and if he'll get more of a look with your team. It's hard to say, but I know I'm not the only one checking on him. It's always natural in these situations. So Steve Bulpett talked to a guy in the league, said that his team has checked on him and other teams have checked on him. So I want y'all to predict this. Will Payton Pritchard be traded this year? Y for yes, in for no, down in the comment section. Go down, let me know. I've said this for weeks now that it's very possible Payton Pritchard is going to get traded, and the reason why is that his usage has gone down. This year, he's averaging just 10.5 minutes per game, 4.4 points per game, 1.2 assists per game, while shooting 40% from the floor. And the reason that his usage has gone down is because you traded for Malcolm Brodgon. So he's pretty much buried right now amongst the Celtics guards. Now, I think it's very possible that he might get traded. In fact, you can make the argument that it is likely that he is going to get traded because there's going to be interest around the league. He is a good young player. He's just in his third year in the league right now. He's set to be a restricted free agent after next season. So I think he's going to get interest. And look, I think it's good to have depth. I like Pritchard. If I was Brad Stevens, I would not trade him, but he's going to get some interest. I'm sure Brad would consider any offer that comes in for Pritchard. Again, his usage has gone down this year. He did not play last night in the Celtics' 126-102 win over the Houston Rockets, an impressive win for a Celtics team over a young Rockets team that's kind of had an up and down year. Taking a look at the full box score here, Jalen Green dropped 28. He's having a pretty good year. Kevin Porter Jr., 22. Kevin Martin, 17. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, look at that. 38 points for Tatum, 39 points for Brown. Tatum had 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Brown had 2 assists, made 6 3-pointers. Tatum also made 6 threes. I mean, that right now is clearly the best duo in the entire league, and I don't really even think it's close. Those two are playing on another planet right now, and the Celtics have the best record in the league because of it. Here is what Jaylen Brown said after the game about him and Tatum. I think we've gotten better with experience. I think Jayson is playing at an all-time level for him. We're just coming out and playing and being aggressive. I think that's the key to it. Our offense and teammates allows it with spacing the floor. Guys who don't get credit, like Brogdon, D. White, Sam Hauser, Al Horford, Grant Williams, great floor spacers. It allows us to be able to play. We don't really see a lot of double teams. I think maybe one or two teams have doubled on us all year. When you get to play with that freedom, you get out there and just make plays. And I think he couldn't have said it better. Taking a look at the Celtics' upcoming schedule. So on Thursday, they play the Clippers at home, and then they go on a 4-game road trip at Denver, at OKC, at Dallas, and then in San Antonio. So they're just going further and further south on that road trip. And if you remember, the last Celtics road trip didn't end too hot. So hopefully the Celtics have a little bit more success on this next 4-game road trip. We'll have you covered during it. Any Celtics news, any Celtics rumors that breaks, we're going to get you guys a video. Go down, subscribe to the channel, and Happy New Year.